Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I'll be taking you through 3 different strategies to use on a £50 budget when starting Sorare. As always, do your own research. Different content creators will have different strategies and advice. These are just my opinions on how to start Sorare on £50. Towards the end of the video, I'll pick my favourite strategy out of the 3 that I would personally use if I was starting Sorare today on £50. So strategy 1 would be using the pro competitions. So I'll put it on screen now. So let's start off then. So all these strategies will include the amateur division. Now, even as a user that's been on Sorare for 3 years and has a gallery with rares and super rares, I can still play in this division. It's completely free for anyone. If there's a brand new to Sorare, the common cards are the card you draft right at the beginning of the game. These are completely free. So you use 5 common cards, and obviously XP applies, and you pick a captain each game week. That applies to each strategy, to be honest, on this video, and you can use it, as I mentioned before, if you're 2 or 3 years into Sorare with over 100 cards, just for example. Now, with this strategy, we're looking to buy 9 or 10 players. Now, the reason behind this is the semi-pro, middle division there, the competition. You'll need 1 limited and 4 commons. However, you only can have a max of 10 limited cards in your gallery. So just buying the 10 limited cards, as soon as you go over that and hit 11 limited cards, you can no longer play that semi-pro competition. Now, the first 5 limited cards you're going to buy for this strategy are going to be from 5 different divisions. Now, at this moment in time, from my knowledge, on the draft modes, you've got the top 5 English leagues from England, France, Germany, Spain, and Italy. However, when the new season comes around, there could potentially be draft modes in the Belgian Pro League and the Netherlands Eredivisie at the same time as well. But just for this example, we're going to be using the top 5 European leagues and buying 1 card from each division. You're buying cards in defenders, midfielders, and forwards. Now, you don't want to buy goalkeeper at this stage, just because you probably wear this already. Goalkeepers are the most expensive position on Sorare. Reason being because of scarcity and demand. In a football team, you'll have 1 goalkeeper, usually 4 defenders, a few midfielders, and a couple of forwards. Hence why the goalkeeper is more expensive, because there's 1 per team. And a massive tip on the goalkeepers: in your common card selection, your goalkeeper is really important. You can use your common cards in the amateur league, semi-pro, and even 1 or 2 in the Pro 270. However, you'll be using your goalkeeper across all these divisions. Your goalkeeper is really important when it comes to common card, so make sure you pick a top goalkeeper when you're drafting those cards. So for this part, you'll have a £5 budget there or thereabouts for each player. As you can see, I've got 4 different players on the screen. Each division, apart from the Premier League, which I'll show you in a moment. We've got a player from the Spanish division, French, Italian, and German league here, which totals up to just under £20. Just a quick note, these 4 players on the screen are not my top picks, they're just picks that I've chosen just a moment ago, looking through the scouting tools. Again, do your own research on those 5 players you want to buy. And this is just an example of the Premier League semi-pro division. As you can see, this manager finished first placed with a limited Danny Welbeck card. As you can see, he had 4 common cards, of course, and his captain with the 50% bonus. Now, he got very lucky this week. 100 score for Danny Welbeck doesn't happen every single game week, but you can see you don't need the absolute elite limited cards. You want those limited cards that can peak and get those 100 scores, those 80, 90s plus if you can, along with 4 common cards. So in this division, on this game week, towards the end of April, start of May, competing with just over 5,000 people, and the prize pool is up to 200 limited cards. So Tier 2 is the highest limited card, so in the region about £40, give or take, and you are competing with over 5,000 other managers. So you've been out there, you've got your 5 limited cards from those 5 different divisions, and now you can play all the semi-pro kind of divisions, plus the amateur ones as well. That's a total of 10 competitions you can play in. Now, the next step is going for the Pro 270. Now, the Pro 270, as it says in its name, only get a cap of 270 points. So the last 15 scores of your players must add up to a total of 270 or below to play in this competition. And as it states there, you need at least 4 or 5 limited cards. Now for this example, we're just going to be using 4 limited cards, and again, using your common goalkeeper. So your common goalkeeper, you can use that in all these divisions, hence why I say it's really important to get a top common goalkeeper. Now unfortunately, you only can put one team in the cap 270 mode on this sort of strategy, just because again, if you go over 10 limited cards, you're kicked out of the semi-pro division. So my advice for this will be to buy 5 limited cards, so 4 starters, again a defender, midfielder, forward and an extra, then maybe 1 extra player in case of an injury. So for example, we'll just use a Premier League for this. Again, these players are just examples. I'm not telling you these are the best players for this strategy, but as you can see, these 4 players, give or take, just over £20. So again, for the strategy, each player will be roughly £5 give or take. So this is the Premier League lineup, and it's not amazing. Using your common keeper in here as well in the Pro League. Again, it's going to be under 270 points, so you don't want the absolute elite players, but again, you're looking for players that can peak and get those 100 scores, every other month or so. So just to recap strategy 1, you'll have 5 teams in the amateur division. You might have more if Sorare decide to draft the likes of Eredivisie, the Jupiler Pro League, and also you can use MLS of course as well, but this is more for European season. So if you have 5 teams in there, you'll have 5 teams in semi-pro as well, those top 5 divisions again, using 1 limited in each team. And you'll also have 1 team in the Pro 270 as well. So for my example, I use the Premier League. So in total, you'll have 11 teams throughout the whole season to play in this strategy. This strategy might be for more managers that want to kind of plug and play, buy 9, 10 limited cards, win a card, sell it on, kind of bank that sort of profit. If you're more active and want you to trade your way up on Sorare, I wouldn't recommend this strategy. Then once you've been playing Sorare for a few weeks, you feel confident now, you've got used to the scoring matrix, then to move on to the cap 270 mode as soon as possible. So again, you'll lose out on the semi-pro divisions, but the cap 270 mode is so much more appealing in terms of prize pools, and the competition is much less as well, which I'll show you right now. And by cap 270, I do apologise, I do mean the pro divisions. So the cap 270 is a different mode, so just keep that in mind. So this is a Premier League Pro. As you can see, there's 2,606 people competing. Pair that with the semi-pro, as we showed you before, there's 5,000, over 5,000 competing for this. A lot less competition in the pro division, so once you can move up, the sooner the better. And as you noticed from the prize pool, there's still 200 limited cards, but as you might have noticed here, stars and T1s up for grabs as well. Now this strategy can be split up into 2. If you feel more confident on Sorare, you've seen the rewards pool in the pro divisions, and you want to head straight for that and completely miss out the semi-pro, you definitely can do. You can build a team such as this on the screen now with about £20. Build 2 teams like this, one for the Premier League and then another division such as the Bundesliga, let's just say, at £40. You'll have 2 teams in the pro divisions. So again, you'll have 5 amateur teams and 2 teams competing in the Pro 270. So you'll have less teams, 7 teams instead of 11, but you might have a better opportunity of winning those higher tier rewards. So moving on to strategy 2, and that is focusing on the Cap 240 Limited, the Cap 270 with the 5 limited cards, and the All-Star and Regions category. So with this one, we're skipping straight past the semi-pro division and the pro division as well, and jumping straight into limiteds. That includes buying a goalkeeper. So for the strategy, we're looking at Cap 240 and All-Star, potentially regions, but personally I would stick to the Cap 240 if you can do. If not, use the All-Star Limited. So for this strategy, you do need to buy a goalkeeper. So I can't stress this enough, to make sure you spend even a little bit more and get a certain starter goalkeeper. Nothing worse on Sorare than buying a goalkeeper that gets dropped. So just make sure you buy a certain number 1 for the up and coming season. For this strategy, it involves a lot of trading, a lot of scouting, a lot of research. So if you're a manager with not a lot of time, you don't want to go out there and do tons and tons of research, you want to kind of just buy players and play them, I wouldn't recommend this strategy too much. So with this strategy, you'll need at least 8 limited, probably even more, especially in the Cap 240 modes, just because, as you can see on screen, these players will not be under the Cap 240 mode. So those that are brand new to Sorare, the Cap 240 mode is the last 15 games. As you can see on the screen here, there's 48 for Sam Johnston, William 57. you have to have a cap under 240 and hit 250 points on Sorare at this moment in time. That is increasing, but at this moment in time, it's cap 240, last 15 under 40, and these 5 players have to score of over 250. And by changing, I mean Sorare are upping that to 300 score. However, XP is currently not included in player scores. So moving forward from September, you'll have the XP bonus, but need to hit 300-point score. So it should work out more or less the same. But for more information on that, check out the link in the description for Sorare's roadmap. Moving back to the strategy, as you can see, this team cost £38-39, and you do want at least, I would say, 3-4 more limited. So it's really stretching your budget. Again, these players I've just kind of picked. They're not my top picks at all by any means. So do your own research and potentially buy a cheaper team than this. But if we move into the cap 240 mode, you want players that are not so good on Sorare, just because you can fit them in that cap mode to maybe some sub players at the same time as well. Another team example here. Now, just beware, as mentioned before, this goalkeeper is not a certain starter, so this is not a great example. But it's just showing you that you can get stacks involved as well. And another top tip for me is try and get players from the same division if you can do. Or use a Sorare calendar. Again, I'll use this, leave link in the description below. And as you can see on this, when teams play each week. So majority of the time, European teams will play on the same given game week. For example, in England, you have the FA Cup. It's the same for each different division as well. So it's a good idea to keep the same team in the same division, just so when you're playing the Cap 240 modes or even the All-Star modes, you'll have a team to play every single game week. Again, another example, I'm using the Scottish division, quite a cheap division on Sorare, so I recommend looking at this division for sure. Again, take these picks with a pinch of salt. I'm no expert on the Scottish division. I'm using lots of Greg Taylor here as well, who's quite highly priced compared to other players. As you can see again, the price is looking about £35-40, but again, you probably do need some extra players to cover injuries. With this strategy, you'll have one main limited team that'll be put into cap 240 limited to try and hit that threshold every single game week. It's, I think, $5 at the moment in time. Now, if your players exceed that cap mode, you can play them in the cap 270 or even the All-Star and Region division. Personally, I would go for the cap 270 or the All-Star. And with the extra players, those players that you might have brought as a safety net for those cap 240 players, you can put in the cap 220 mode, again using your common goalkeeper and the other 4 limited outfield players. So with the strategy, once you've won a few thresholds, won a few different cards, start to look to build another team, so another limited team in the cap mode or the All-Star regions, find another goalkeeper and moving into those other divisions. The final strategy is not going to be too long. It is literally trading on Sorare. So that's buying goalkeepers that are backups at the moment at £5, £6, £7 and hoping they get a loan move or a permanent transfer away and double their price. Or buy some young players that could get a loan move. We've been scouting a young player for the last couple of years. I know he's really good. So with this strategy, it's not so fun in my opinion, but it could be the best strategy in terms of return. If you are active on Sorare, you'd like to trade way up on Sorare, this could be a great strategy for you. Now for me, I don't enjoy this route, even though it could be the best return on investment. It's just because I don't enjoy trading too much. I get very attached to my players. I enjoy the fantasy game side of things. As mentioned, if you are very active, you can buy players when they're low on form or injured, and you can sell them, after a few really good games. This could be the best strategy in terms of investment on Sorare. So they're the 3 strategies that I recommend if you start on Sorare with a £50 budget. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And in my opinion, if you're fairly new to Sorare, you've been playing the amateur leagues for the last few weeks or months, jumping straight into strategy 1, getting used more to the scoring matrix, and having those 5 leagues can be crucial and becoming great knowledge on those 5 different leagues. If you have been on Sorare for a few months now and you're used to the game, used to the matrix, you can jump straight to strategy 2, which I feel personally is the best strategy and the one that I would go for if I was to start Sorare, just because you can grind that ETH, you can play in the cap 220 mode and still in the pro modes as well, with those other 4 limited cards. Again, that's just my opinion. Other people have different opinions and different strategies. There might be tons of other different strategies you can do on a £50 budget. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you are starting on a £50 budget, what are your plans? And if you haven't signed up to Sorare, please use the link in the description below. When you buy 5 limited cards from the auction house, you'll receive 1 free limited card from Sorare. And if you have no idea what Sorare is, I've got a video in the description that tells you all things Sorare, from buying a card, different competitions you can play, the different scarcities on the game. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Sorare content.